I don't know about you, but I would like to see a side story with Shoto based on that cover page. Would be a nice one. After trials and errors with dealing with the kids, it begs the question, how long are they going to stay with this situation? It only took a year to finally get the job done. It must be a New Year resolution for these students. Whatever it is, it was a nice chapter with a charming end to this child daycare hell zone. The chapter resumed back to the generation war with the students and the kids. If you're thinking a world-ending scenario, well, Seiji decided to shout out an advice and avoid that at all costs. Could you imagine what would have happened if it did go through? It would have been a PR nightmare. Anyway, I do like the fact Seiji let out an advice to these students to avoid ignorance tactic at its finest. It wouldn't just be playing fire with fire. It could have led to greater damage than they least expected. He understands the level of tolerance differs with kids, so essentially causing damage would not just injure them, but potentially scar them. I have to admit, I did agree with Mike when he was asking who he is, because I actually forgot myself. Either way, it needed to be said. There is some amusing quirk display from the kids. One of the kids has a chopping ball, for instance, that is pretty similar to Super Mario Bros., which has an enemy that chops like a dog. It's probably the point of it, so yeah. Bakugo almost became Whitebeard, but only his right side of the mask got chopped off. We don't get to see the other quirk in action, but the name calling is amusing to read. It's interesting to read the explanation of quirk for each passing generation. It is said that every passing generation they get stronger, yet complicated, which is good and bad. It's practically the series' way of next generation surpassing the last in some sense. Mainly because the complication is an issue of whether they can control it well or rowdy like those spoiled sports. Well, it's an excuse for the kids to be rowdy, so I guess we can't be that frustrated. Maybe. Whenever there's a problem going on with no sight of comeback, there's always a comeback moment. I know what I said. It tends to happen in these moments where the characters get all triumphant, but it's a good scene, so it's all fine. Kami's quirk is shown and it's called Glamour. It's pretty much an illusion, and she tricked the girl for believing Shoto being a hot stud. You know, I almost thought she was sidelined, so it was a relief to see her in some form. It's hard to blame me after the last arc, you know. Inasa spins the kids with the wind gust. I don't know why, but I chuckle at Inasa's expression that reads, "I'm going to kill these kids!" We have Bakugo, and even his expression doesn't even read that. Shoto uses his ice quirk to freeze them and end their young lives of misbehaviors. Instead, we have a slide made out of ice for the kids to have fun. That's nice of him. It has a really good visual shot of the ice slide. It looks pretty fun and delight. The rest of the chapter is solid. Inasa and Shoto do work together well. It's a good thing their quirk actually works as advantage for the amusement. Though I hope none of those kids fly off the slide. Just saying. It's a good cooperation from the students since they didn't resort to violence. I know, Bakugo and no violence? They have a good change up from the previous reaction and actually work together as an actual team with the right intention. Basically, they shift focus to better approach to the kids by keeping their spirits strong and be influenced to learn from the grown-up. It's like a moral of never aim to bully anyone no matter what. These kids are kids, so the learning process isn't the same as adults, let alone teenagers. They have to teach them at a different pace. It's usual yet necessary morale of violence isn't the answer. The result does complement their tactic, which is reassuring. The kids are behaving far better than before. They have taken a strong liking to the students and find their quirk as a great benefit to many things, even if they find theirs better. Whether the info of generation of quirk matters in the long run or not, it at least addresses this neatly. The part I like the most is with Bakugo dealing with the leader. Inasa and Shoto got their part of showing their maturity, so it left Bakugo to show his. It's a nice ending to the mission, with Bakugo reciting his recent development, which is looking down on everyone and staying with that view. If it happened to him, it can happen to anyone. Bakugo definitely has grown, and trying to help a kid to avoid that dilemma is a nice thing he has done. It also ends nicely with a tie-in from earlier discussion with Endeavor and All Might. It's funny that being nice in general is an easy lesson, yet Endeavor seems blindsided on that notion. Watching Shoto being helpful and kind should wake him up, and maybe soon he will be a hero that people won't have to be afraid of. It was a nice mission while it lasted. It's simple yet enjoyable. It's not like it lasted so long, so it is not bad to relax for a bit. I don't know what is next for them, but I guess things will become a little more serious than before. We'll see what this year have in store for them. Share your thoughts in the comment section. I don't know what to expect. What do you think is next for them? Do you think there's more of those shenanigans like the kids, or there's gonna be an actual training, or it might be something else? I don't know, but we'll see in the next chapter. And that will do it for the review. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you like this and want more of this, subscribe to my channel, and my world will be yours to stay. Until next time, take care.